Well, we kick off this morning taking a look at the Muslim response and the dialogue that is absolutely critical. It is crucial. It is necessary to have this dialogue on xenophobia, Afrophobia, and immigration. And as I mentioned in my introduction, we know that foreign nationals have been affected with what we see happening around us with the March and March movement, but also when one looks at minorities, and if there is a minority that has been singled out or a single minority that has been impacted or affected by what we see around us has been the Muslim community. And we've seen visuals. In fact, I've seen something right until yesterday in the area where I live in Benoni, a logistics company, and where hundreds of March and March protesters converged, and the leadership of March and March demanding all sorts of things from the owners and list of employees, and just so much information. We've seen what has happened in many businesses where businesses have been raided, goods have been taken off the shelf, and we see this as a daily occurrence. But the key issue, the critical issue for us as Muslims, is how have we responded? And this has been a call for a long time. Where is the Muslim leadership to respond to this crisis? And this is the reason why we are talking with the Soweto Muslim Shura Council this morning. They have launched the Kasi Muslim Dialogue on Xenophobia, Afrophobia, and Immigration. And we're going across now to be joined by the Treasurer of the Soweto Muslim Shura Council and also an NEC member, and with the South African Black Muslim Conference, Imraan Maphatsoe. Sheikh Imraan, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome. Your mic.
Aha, there we go. Assalamu alaikum, salam wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Sheikh Imraan. Just wonderful seeing you. Jummah Mubarak to you. But again, I briefly introduced what we want to talk about today, the Kasi Muslim Dialogue. And I just want to talk about dialogue, the Muslim community. It is absolutely necessary at this critical point in time. Sheikh Imraan, we are definitely having a problem hearing you. I'm not too sure what the problem is, but we've just lost we've lost your sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Look, I always say to people, some of us we are a minority in a majority. We are Muslims living in a township, and living in a township creates another dynamic to this whole immigration thing and stuff. Because what happens is that some of our people don't even begin to understand when you talk about xenophobia, what you're talking about. All right. When you say people are xenophobic, what are you talking about? Because all this a reaction is based on what is your experience with a certain people or certain groupings. So once somebody really gets affected by certain things, they start taking a stand that may be negative or positive. So what we're trying to do with Kasi Muslim Dialogue is to see, can we find a common voice or one voice that can speak to the situation that we are faced with? Because if you speak to one person, he will tell you his experience about what's happening in the country. Speak to another, will talk about his experience, and those experiences somehow shape the concept or shape how people respond to the dilemma that we're faced with. So we're saying if we do Kasi dialogue, then we can be able to speak to each other, not against, not past each other. We can speak to each other so as we can find an everlasting solution. By the way, this is the first of many to come, because I think we have, for a longest of time, we have left, as leaders in the community, I think we have left our people behind, all in the name of saying we are doing good for the community. I think at the same time we leave them behind about important situation or important issues that are affecting them daily. Like I say, whether in negative or positive, this is where we want to come in and say, how do we then formulate one voice and speak against injustices that are perpetrated by people who have a different view, and see how do we get them a buy-in in them, and be able to 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 show them another side of things. I think that's where we're coming from with this Kasi Muslim dialogue.
Well, I think it's just a very interesting initiative because, as you mentioned, we are a minority in a majority, and this is not only limited to the townships, this is the country as a whole, where we are a minority in a majority. And uh, what I've seen in the last few weeks is one is waiting for the other to take the lead in this situation, and some say that no, this is the domain of the ulama only, and I'm saying that leadership needs to step forward, and leadership needs to step forward at all levels. And I suppose with the Kasi Muslim dialogue, where you're taking the lead in a particular area, that tells me that there is a step in the right direction, and someone is actually prepared to take the lead and do something about it.
Yes, and I think from this, like I said, this is the first of the many to come. From this dialogue, we intend to come and speak to other. Remember, the reality of things is in South Africa. Yes, and this is what we are faced with every day. That a lot of South Africans think Islam is Indian. All right, that on its own create another challenge that we need to seriously engage in that, because of that it creates another dimension to this whole thing. Let alone xenophobia and other things, it creates Islamophobia now. You see, so it is very important for us to start this dialogue so as we can be able to open up and talk to other people about this situation. I went to UXA presentation the other day. The approach, it is profound, because what it does is that it says, let's talk. Let's not create other platforms, but let's talk with those people that are already there. Let's find each other. Let's not talk past each other. Let's find a way to make our country work. So in a way, Kasim Muslim it's starting that dialogue as well. Said that let's talk. As soon as we speak amongst ourselves as Muslim, Black South African Muslims, we're able to extend our hand to established Muslims. We will extend our hand to our communities that we live in. So as we are able to present a united front that speaks to everyone. In the township, it can be trickled down to our communities can understand Islam in that way, and understand what is important, and how we can live with each other. I think that's why Kasi Muslim dialogue is fundamental to us to be able to start these talks.
Well, also, Sheikh Imran, I think why these talks are absolutely necessary is as a Muslim ummah, and as you mentioned, the perception that Islam is an Indian religion or Islam may be a Malay religion. And because of the face of the Muslim ummah that has changed and it has evolved over a period of time, it is absolutely necessary to paint this picture and to get the message even clear, loud, and making absolutely sure that Islam is understood religion, and it is not only about an Indian, it is not only about the Malay Muslims in this country. And I think this is a message that many, as you mentioned, fail to actually understand, because when they talk of Muslims, immediately the Indian actually comes to mind.
I think it's an indictment to us, really, for living this for too long. Some of these things we need to look at ourselves and really do reintrospection, because look, for a country where practicing our religion is so easy, and free, for us not to still have this concept, our majority people still think Islam is an Indian religion, is an indictment on us. Really, I don't think we've done enough to be able to speak to that. Because have if we have done enough, I don't think some of these problems. Yes, I'm not saying I'm not putting down these problems. But I'm saying some of these problems could have been handled differently. Had our people understood Islam to what it is. I think it's an indictment on us for really not doing enough about teaching our people, making them understand what is Islam. Islam is not Indian, Islam is not Malay, Islam is not Arab, Islam, but it's the entire Ummah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It was sent to the entire nation, not only to one people. That's a message that we should really had hammered to our people so as they can understand where we're coming from and not really point fingers when they start seeing. Because I mean, a simple thing. What's happening here is that you have a wife that goes to work with a hijab and stuff. The first thing that happens is they don't say, it's one of us. They say it's a foreigner immediately. It's a foreigner because now they've taken this perception that only Muslims that are in South Africa are foreigners. Now, hence I'm saying we have really this is an indictment on us for not have really sold, for lack of a better word, Islam to our indigenous people to understand it, what Islam is. It's not necessarily foreign.
Yes. Sheikh Imraan, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to go for an air break, and I'd like to actually come back, and I want to talk about the event that is taking place tomorrow in Soweto.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Right now, over 150 million children around the world are orphaned, facing hunger, hardship, and uncertainty. With Islamic Relief's Orphan Sponsorship Program, you can provide a child with access to education, nutritious food, essential healthcare, and a safe home. Your sponsorship is not just support, it's hope, security, and a brighter future. Be the reason an orphan child smiles again. Sponsor an orphan today with Islamic Relief.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Are you banking with convenience, transparency, and flexibility? With Al Barakah Bank's transactional banking account, you can enjoy convenient everyday banking designed around your needs. Benefit from zero fees on point-of-sale transactions and manage your banking easily through Al Barakah's secure mobile banking app and internet banking platform. From everyday payments to managing your personal or business banking, Al Barakah makes banking simple, transparent, and convenient. Visit albarakah.co.za to learn more. Al Barakah, your partner bank. Al Barakah Bank Limited is an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Gaza needs your support more than ever. Homes have been shattered and families have lost everything. With your support, our teams are delivering clean water tankers, feeding the hungry, and assisting orphans who have no one left. Let us give Gaza whatever help we can. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Well, we continue with the discussion this morning right here on Salam Media, where we are talking with Sheikh Imraan Maphatsoe, Treasurer at the Soweto Muslim Shura Council, and an event that is taking place tomorrow. And this is the launch of the Kasi Muslim Dialogue on Xenophobia, Afrophobia, and Immigration. Sheikh Imraan, let's just continue and let's talk about this event in conjunction with the South African Black Muslim Conference and the Soweto Shura Muslim Council taking place tomorrow. Now, it is going to be a launch. You mentioned that this is going to be one of many to come. And I'm just looking at the poster right now, which talks about xenophobia, Afrophobia, immigration, but saying, let's sit, talk, and find the Kasi way forward.
Yes, thank you. We are of the view that there's a saying in Soweto that says, I'll translate it in English, but it says everything's fixed by mouth. Meaning, if I've wronged you, and I come and apologize, that's what it means. It says everything that is messed up, it can be fixed by the mouth. So the long and short of it, it says, so dialogue in this case, it goes to that core that we don't talk enough. We instead of talking, we create. When I'm not happy in a certain groupings, I go out and create my own groupings to challenge this other grouping because I'm not happy with it. This has been our downfall as human beings and as precisely as Muslims as well, that we keep on creating when we don't understand each other or when you speak past each other, we create. We don't sit down and do introspection and start talking. So this Muslim dialogue, it's precisely to address that issue that we need to start talking. And in talking, we'll find each other. Because it's me saying to you, this is wrong or this is right. And if I say it's wrong, why do I say it's wrong? And if I say it's right, why do I say it's right? And honestly, if we find each other in that order, we'll be able to come up with one voice that speaks to the community, that speaks to the entire country. So it becomes an informed solution. It's not the solution of 6 people sitting in a boardroom and decide for other people, but it's an informed way forward that it was communicated or people spoke and put their feelings on the table and were able to discuss and find a lasting solution. Like I said, this is not a first. It is one of the many to come. And we're not going to speak amongst ourselves. We'll obviously extend this to other communities, to other different religions, so as we're able to find a solution that will make our country work again.
Yes. Sheikh Imraan, what can be expected at the event tomorrow and at the launch? What are some of the key issues that we should be knowing about?
One of the, I think what is important that we need to say is that we need to start unpacking these big phrases that I hear that are called xenophobic, Islamophobic, immigration. We need to unpack those things because some of us don't understand. We know someone is xenophobic and stuff, and some of us just follow because it's happening. So we need to start unpacking those things and make people understand what do they mean and when does it when do you use this word? When does this word it is really a word you can use? I mean, we're trying to decipher this word so as we can be able to find a way forward and know what is expected of us as human beings, and I think that's what this dialogue is about, is to speak to those and taking those big words that we have so as people can understand what they're faced with and they can be able to make informed decisions, basically. And obviously, let our ulama direct us from Islamic point of view where we at, basically.
And is this an open invitation?
It is an open invitation.
Okay. All right, and so I just like to reiterate that it is taking place tomorrow, the 11th of July, starting at 10 a.m. at Lamini Junction, which is on the corner of Chris Hani Road and the Klipsveld Valley Road as well, inshallah, and
Inshallah.
starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And if you can make your way to Soweto tomorrow, please try, because I think this is an important initiative, which is basically a start of many. And as I mentioned right at the outset, that yes, this is taking place in Soweto, but within our own communities. And as Sheikh Imraan says, that this requires a lot of introspection, where we can talk about all the major reasons, all the causes of xenophobia or Afrophobia, whatever it is, illegal migrants, where the influences are coming, whether it's external forces, whether it's third forces. But this is a dialogue that we need to have amongst ourselves. We need to internalize this. We need to look from within us and see exactly whether we truly, truly understand the dynamics that are playing out, but also more importantly, what are we as an ummah doing about it? Sheikh Imraan, Jazakallah khairan so much. Wish you all the best at the event as well, to both yourself, the Soweto Muslim Shura Council, and also the South African Black Muslim Conference, who are hosting this together with you as well. So inshallah, we're looking forward to that, but also looking forward to some feedback in terms of what actually comes out from the launch tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Salam. Thank you for having me, and for us to be able to present this beautiful initiative that we think will come up with a way forward that will give us an everlasting solution. Thank you very much. Jazakallah.
Inshallah, Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Imraan Thabo Maphatsoe joining us this morning, and he is the treasurer at the Soweto Muslim Shura Council. The time is just gone 8:30. We're going to go for a break. We'll be joined by the CEO of IRS Forensic Investigations, Chet Thomas.